responsibility for
And
your
that's not
action.
to say it doesn't hurt or it doesn't like.
Exactly.
Well, it's just like, okay, this is now my life. I'm now an adult.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, people will try to rationalize and justify anything and everything.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just everybody has trauma.
Yeah.
Truly, I
honestly,
can't. Trauma, my own trauma. Yeah, everybody's healing from trauma.
Yeah.
Everybody has some form of trauma. If it's not from bullying, I mean, maybe a small percentage of people, had life,
Yeah, easy for them.
Yeah, everything was,
But most people, I think, do like have. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, so you can't and if everybody was just going to operate from, so that's why we even have, I think, terrible friendships, terrible work relationships, terrible, I don't know, even in places, customer service.
Yeah.
So so like for example, now I want to use like the Nigerian context.
Okay.
Truly, like if you look at our upbringing and everything, it's very, very trauma induced. Like we really go through this whole, everything is traumatizing.
Yeah.
From the way like our culturally across board, not like for a particular culture, across board, we all have like this kind of upbringing that a lot of people be like, oh, you were traumatized or whatever. So I think that kind of translates into like why people act a certain way, because people are like, but that's how it is. That's how it's always been. But like, why you acting like a polo, or why you like a worse? You get, because people don't want to be like. So we've kind of internalized that trauma, and it's part of our personality. We're not willing to work on it. We're not willing to work on it and actually hold ourselves accountable. So nobody is like holding themselves accountable.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's just how it is, which is very complacent way of living life.
Yeah.
But me, that's just my own thing though. So I mean, it's really trauma is really not an excuse.
Yeah.
Because you should work on it. Like people are paying for therapists.
Yeah.
If you can't pay for therapists, like you try to do some self work on yourself. You don't have to pay for a therapist. I mean, people existed before like therapists were like a thing.
Yeah.
So and people worked on it, and we had.
I also didn't subscribe to the over-reliance on therapy. I think it's great to go and talk about like things that you probably can't talk about with anyone who's close to you, because they might not just understand and they don't have this psychological prowess to guide you through it. But I feel like the over-reliance of our generation, which I'm starting to see, is like most people are like, oh, I need to go to therapy to like unpack this, and it's like one person is telling you how to feel, what someone else meant when they did that, when they really don't know that person, and they're taking things from your point of view. Like they
need more context. Really, like you have to be there.
Yeah, I feel iffy with therapy. Like I feel like it's helpful, but I feel like there's also part of it where it could be, like you could be taken advantage of as a person by paying so much money and going to see a psychologist and talking about your own events from your perspective. And it can also kind of lean a bit narcissistic, like where you're like, let me talk about myself again today. I don't know.
I think maybe sometimes therapists, I don't know a lot of therapists. Or any, maybe even.
Yeah, I actually know nothing about therapy, just saying. I've never been. This is just
but I
talking.
think like from like what people say on like social media, oh, my therapist said this. But I think like some therapists try and they're like, okay, what if the person felt this way and that's why they acted that way.
Yeah.
But then again, I think people most of the time are going to therapists so that the therapist
can hear what they need to hear.
So the therapist can actually justify their behavior and be like, oh, this is why you're doing this.
Yeah.
Exactly. So why you don't pick up calls is because when you were a child, when you were 7,
they used to call you a lot at home and you're just over it.
So like just you need somewhere to go so that someone can rationalize
and validate your feelings, and
also over reliance on therapists that you said. For me, I think sometimes people should be able to. I don't know how we got to this whole point of needing a therapist for every little thing. I feel like we should be able to actually sit with ourselves and actually confront our own selves and say, you know what, sometimes you see them like, my bad. Actually, let's not lie. I fucked up.
Yeah.
So a lot of people like kind of don't do that.
Yeah, they kind of rely on someone else, which I think is a bit.
You need to before you start going to therapy, like you need to be able to, or either before you start going or after you've been going to a therapist. Like, I think you need to develop like that sense to be able to actually call your own self out on your own bullshit.
Yeah.
And people just don't do that, I guess, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it is. But to the story, I think like the things I wanted to highlight in the story is the fact that number one, his dad did a very good job teaching him how to fight. I just feel like a man or a person, but mostly a man that knows how to fight.
Men used to go to war.
Men used to go to war. Let's talk about it. But no, I feel like there's something about a man knowing how to defend and protect himself and his loved ones. It's really admirable. I don't think there's a need for violence at every single given time. However, in that sense, if there was a way you could have like made, hey, don't do this, and like threw one or two punches and let it be, but almost dead. That's a lot.
That's from like the neighborhood that he grew up. Like, what
were you beating out of him? The devil? I don't understand.
Like where did you grow up? Ikorodu? I don't think Ikorodu is that bad, but like,
no, I'm trying to think of a place in Lagos that is that terrible. I don't know, but yeah, it's so that. Well, I don't know. after Yabafade, I don't know anywhere else. No, I know places, but like I don't know them Kong like that.
Okay.
If you see me in Lagos, please direct me. I might be lost.
Oh, they will not direct you. They cannot know for directing.
So yeah, well, I'm glad nothing bad happened to the girl. Has anything like this ever happened to you with teachers in secondary school or not this severe, but like just people making passes at you?
No.
Okay.
Luckily, no.
Because you're a fangirl.
Stop it.
No, I'm being serious. So like no teacher has made passes at you or like even the slides.
Not that I can remember. No, I don't think so. No.
Okay, but has a boy fought for you in school before?
No. No.
You'll be married by now to him, obviously.
I don't think so.
Really?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's for me, it's like, in as much as I like to see a man be like, it's nice to know that a man can fight.
Yeah, but don't get me in trouble.
No, for me, it's a problem because I feel like I don't like violence because I feel like, okay, so it's like when people date like a man in military or in some paramilitary, like once I know you can fight, for me at the back of my mind is this
fear, like what would you do to
like
me?
So you somehow activated the beast in you. You just know how to keep that beast in check. So what happens when one day you and I are together and then that day you cannot keep your beast in check and then it's me you're beating? Please no.
Fair enough. No, that's a fair point. So, I can't even argue that.
So for me, men that fight.
Yeah, there's something.
I don't know.
Do you know Jordan Peterson? There's something he says where he talks about how like the entire
the therapist, because I was wondering if like is he a therapist or
he's a psychologist?
Yes, that guy. Yeah, I think I remember him. Because I was wondering where I knew that name from.
Yeah, he spoke about why people like Beauty and the Beast so much, and that the story is basically about a girl that was able to tame a beast. Like, and he says how like you should be a gardener that I don't even know how to put it, but something about being a gardener that can use a gun than a person on the battlefield.
Yes, it's good to something along the lines of it's good for people to know that you can is it use a gun like you're able. You're capable of damage, but you just won't damage until it is absolutely necessary. So people fear you. So for me, it's nice to see a guy that can lift weight. But like, I don't ever think, for me, it's a very big ache if I see a guy like active without good cause. Yeah. And for me, good cause
that is emphasis on without good cause, because why are you fighting unnecessarly?
Like, okay, with this guy, with this story now, like, okay, she was
is that good cause enough?
Good cause, yes, great cause. Because
who knows what would have happened? But I don't think beating him to the plumb is necessary. Like, he could have done with 2 punches, and the girl will go and he'll go.
But you know the thing that he's beat him and none of them said anything, right? That nobody's going to say anything. But the thing, it doesn't really address the issue.
Exactly.
It doesn't really, because now, like, okay, he's just going to avoid this girl and this guy, and whatever he's doing, he's just not going to do it
to them
around this guy, or to this guy's knowledge. But it doesn't mean that he's going to stop generally.
Do you think it'll be something where he beats this guy up and then he goes to the principal and then he's like, look at the scar on that man's face, I did it because he tried to
maybe not beat him up, but like you know when you attack someone and put them in a position where they can't, and then you call for help, so that people will come and see like what is going on.
Yeah,
fair enough. Understand? Okay. So like, but because it doesn't really solve the problem. Yes, he beats the guy, but like, is the guy going to stop? Yes. Like, there's people that go to jail and come back and still do the same thing.
Yeah.
So
that's fair enough.
But at least when you go to jail, like in like systems where jail works, jail is an actual thing, so you have a record. So when you go, so like you're avoiding jail because there's consequences to it. But like say for here in Nigeria, like people that go to jail, like the everyday people that go to like Kirikiri or whatever, you don't even know. We meet 100 people every day, but
I don't know what we have data on, like if you have criminal record in Nigeria.
How many data do we have in this Nigeria?
Because I know, like
I don't think so.
Yeah, I know if you're leaving the country, you do police reports. So I wonder if somebody had like a criminal record in Nigeria, if it's a show on that report, or if there's a way to like.
It does in some cases, depending on how. I think it depends on how high it's escalated. But like for the everyday. Or you don't have a license and somehow police took you to Aja. I don't think, because where you'll go and do your police report, they don't have any record of that. So you don't have any, because I don't think like they upload it on any server. So for me, back to like, so I need. It's good to know that a man is capable of damage, because I think women generally attracted to a man that's capable of some kind of damage.
Yeah, I think that's why most women like bad boys anyway.
Yeah, it gives you a sense of security because you feel like he can protect me.
Yeah.
For me, what if one day, just one day, just
I totally
one event
for
people to just. So for me, I prefer like the more soft-spoken, So for me, one of the very important questions is when I'm talking with someone is, do you have rage? Rage.
Like, okay.
Yes, like are you like explosive anger kind of person? Because sometimes when people get into like that blind rage, they go flying and doing things and they start breaking stuff and they start. I'm like, let it not land on my head.
Yeah, and let it not break on me. I beg.
I don't even like shouting. I don't like when people shout at me. Not even at like work when like I don't like. Why are you shouting? Yeah, like you can express your displeasure, but like why are you
exactly yelling? No, I totally get that, and I know that sometimes emotions get the better of us, and we ourselves might be the ones shouting. But I genuinely, I feel like it's also a Nigerian thing where people just shout just to show like.
Yes,
I'm the one in the situation that has authority.
I hate it when people like why you shout. I really don't get it. Like we can disagree or we can argue, but like
why are we shouting?
When like they can hear us from 2 rooms away, like
what is going on?
Like I'm not saying that you whisper. No, you're not whispering. Like I know that your voice might be a little bit higher, but like that, the yelling I'm talking about.
No, I totally get you. It happens
even at work.
Yeah,
at work where they're like, "Oh, why don't you have the report yet? You have a deadline. Like, why you shout? When you shout, is it going to make?" Well, not in Nigerian space. It happens a lot too.
Yeah,
you see, like employers.
I've heard stories.
Employees. When you shout, it doesn't make the report get ready on the spot. So, like, what exactly is your aim?
And if anything, you've managed to make me apprehensive, but there's ways where you can reprimand me about the reports that I would never ever come in with a late report ever again without you shouting. You shouting has clearly shown that you've lost control of the situation, and that's your last resort, or maybe your first resort in Nigeria, because that's what they do. But it was an interesting read.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was. And guys and girls, please try not to beat anybody.
Please, I beg.
Call the police if you must, but don't beat anybody.
Yeah.
So we'll see you on the next episode of Into the Juniverse. Bye for now.
Bye.